folks. Before we go on, I just want to check on some sports stats, keep myself sharp here on the sports, and I'll use my computer and just go in here, and I'm going to check. Okay.
You like that?
Yeah. It's fun.
God, dude, Breen gets me torqued.
Yeah.
I'm torqued for Breen.
Breen's back. He's back on the mic.
Oh, boy, is
just like we are.
Too Much Dip is back. It's Monday. This is our third episode we've done together. They say 3 episodes deep in a sports pod is when you really hit your stride. So look for big things from this episode. I don't mean to set it too high for us, but it's there.
Should we tell the people that this is our day?
Yes.
Monday is our day. Every day is our day, but is Monday going to be our day?
Monday is the release day.
Monday,
forward.
correct.
There was some chatter,
Because
a little bit of booty chatter out there, hoping we would do Mondays.
There's a lot of that.
a
Guess
lot of
what?
sports happen over the weekend, so it kind of just makes sense to cover it immediately afterward.
A
See how
lot
that
of-
works, Micah?
Yeah.
I do. It feels good to be here on a Monday talking about what happened over the weekend.
Yeah, sure it does.
Mike is going to be the guy that you'll notice he swallows his microphone as he's speaking into
Yeah.
it.
A lot of people are like, hey, why is Micah's volume so loud? And it's because he swallows the microphone. It's like he's making love to the microphone. It's right up on his shit, basically, is what I'm saying.
It's true.
Yeah.
We think that we've remedied the situation. Just to be clear, I haven't, I'm not in charge of running the board. People have been coming at me and getting blocked, saying that I've engineered the audio for me to be louder so that I can be the dominant voice on this podcast. That is not true.
There's no need to engineer that.
You're kind of taking a shot at me.
No,
And I don't like it.
just a little. We're just getting a little feud going here.
I just
It's
filmed
time for a little
Micah.
Monday feud,
I
Dave.
just filmed Micah in action,
Wow.
swallowing the microphone. So I will put a visual representation.
He's got no pod reflex.
Wait,
He's
where
just
can-
proving
on
that to the
social
people.
media.
Where can people
somewhere.
find that on social media?
Did you know we're on social?
Yeah,
We have a social
Too
strategy.
Much Dip Pod, I believe.
Too Much Dip with 2 P's on Twitter. Too Much Dip podcast on Instagram.
Podcast. I fucked it up, but yeah, I kind of landed somewhere in the middle between those two. I said pod.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Yeah. Well, I'm not yet. I got a few more years, but anyway, now the sports are actually back. Like
It would suck if that
we got
sucked.
shit to talk about. It's fun, man. It's tight. I'm
Man,
into
Gundy
it.
came through hella loud on that. Yeah, dude, we got a lot. Like, we almost have too much dip.
It's like we have
He
a
said it.
chip and we're like gonna put dip on it, but we just do a little too much.
Leo meme.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, correct. We have so much dip, in fact, that I'm about to do something that I did not even clear with Dylan or Will, my 2 partners in this company venture. Look for an intern, social media intern for
Wow.
for Too Much Dip.
Wow.
Imagine interning for Dave and too much dip.
I've got some ideas. Do we have a referral fee for this?
I can give you some Waterloo.
Exactly. Free Waterloo if I refer the right person.
We'll give you a case. We know a guy.
About a J and maybe a B-Own.
And all the
What are we
Waterloo you can
talking
handle.
I'm saying J-Bone might be an option for you.
Oh, J-Bone. Well, people want more J-Bone on here. I'm Dave, by
Do
the
they?
way. Yeah, a couple people. Mainly him. I'm Dave. That voice you just heard is Micah.
It me.
We got KJ.
What up?
KJ's the guy looking for the referrals, and then Dylan, of course.
Yeah, your boy's here too. Ready to just fucking go in on this pod.
Yeah, you were just chomping at the bit earlier.
Yeah.
Like, you were shaking me because I was trying to
Yeah.
mess with the audio settings. You were like, dude, we got to get going. Like, I
Well-
only have so much.
This morning we recorded Circling Back, and I worked the board for the first time. I don't know if I mentioned that on the podcast, on the episode.
You did twice within 16 seconds.
Yeah, I did. I was all up on that board, and it felt good. Just hitting buttons and shit, twisting knobs, plugging shit in that I probably wasn't supposed to. It was a good time.
I think it went well.
Yeah.
Initial feedback has been good. We had Vacation Will chiming in from the Upper Peninsula. I guess he's close to the UP. He's Northern Michigan, technically. He's not a Youper,
No, he's not quite up there or something.
but he's close.
Yeah.
But it was nice having him. He was kind of bummed he couldn't talk soccer. Apparently something really big happened in soccer, a big signing. I'm not going to talk about it because that would just be a little bit too much dip for this chip.
Right.
Hey, speaking of excellent feedback, we've gotten a lot of reviews for this podcast on iTunes. Would you like? Can we share a couple real quick?
Well, it says 5.0.
Yeah.
That's good. That's big.
Out of 986 ratings, 5 out of 5. Very impressive. I've got a few reviews I'd like to read. Here's one from Big Kurt 19 that says, "Run it back. Can't wait to hear Micah's trash takes get flamed by the squad."
Well, yeah, we all
That's
enjoy
the
that.
And then this one just came in. It's from Maddie B, in parentheses, the rapper.
I didn't know he listened to us.
Yeah. And the title is Bang! You can hit it. And it says, hope those are baked chips.
What's that supposed to mean?
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I think the chip and the too
chip and
much
the dip.
dip part.
I'd like to hear from Matty B, parentheses, the athlete, and see what he has to say about
That's
our
a good
sports
point.
pod.
I do have one other one to read. This one from Juju172636273.
Good
It's
username.
entitled Dipset, which is a good name for the squad, actually.
I love it.
I don't even watch sports, but I'm absolutely here for the comedy. And most importantly, the return of, in all caps, the Battletoad bad boy. That's MICAHWIENER.
Micah.
How do they spell?
KJ is a dope addition to the Wash roster.
It's a
as
great
well.
review.
Mama, there goes that man.
I was going to say, how did they spell that name, but now I'm on board.
So that person doesn't watch sports,
Hmm.
but their favorite is Micah.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Micah is like the icon for all the homeschool kids.
What will our listeners call themselves? Like the Dippers or something?
I feel like Dipset's been taken.
I
Dipset?
really do like Dipset, but I would say when there's an opportunity for them to consume more than one episode a week, they could be the Double Dippers.
Whoa. Wow. No one's doing that.
My brain just exploded, splattered all over this place.
Jeez.
Wow,
You got any other good reviews,
Those
Micah?
are good, man.
What you got,
Did
man?
DJ Queef didn't chime in this week?
Here's one titled Quad Squad from Ba Lake.
It's got to be about KJ and Micah.
It's called Four Dudes with Jack Quads Talking Sports and Hot Guys.
Well,
Okay.
two of us have good quads.
Thank you for the 5 stars. Well, I think at least 3 of us do.
Hmm.
We got you. We got KJ, and we got.
Well, I thought you're very well proportioned.
Oh, I don't think my quads are.
You're built
are
for it
lacking.
tough.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
I-
you're like the walking, talking, podcasting truck month.
That's quite the compliment. Thank you.
How close are we to 1,000 reviews on there? About 14 away.
Yeah, we're right there.
We need to push
Sheesh.
for 2,000. Come up with something for 2,000 reviews.
Hey, and you know what else?
Tell us what the squad should be named.
It's also podcast week. We'd
Mm.
be doing ourselves a great disservice if we didn't announce that.
Yeah, it is podcast week.
So that means, hey,
Mike
tell
invented
a friend
podcast
about the
week.
pod.
Yeah.
Tell a family member. Tell a coworker. You know, these times are uncertain, but the one thing that is certain, podcasting, podcast week.
Podcast week, yeah.
You can
Like
always
a-
count on podcasts.
Like a late summer tent revival. Just bring all of your friends. You bring one, have them bring 2. We're the pyramid scheme of podcasts.
Oh, I like that. I don't know how that looks on like a pitch deck. The pyramid scheme of podcasts. Dude, week 2 of ad free. I don't like this. When are we gonna start beating people down with like 5 reads an episode?
If Brett would get off or end his vacation just to get back to work, pop the lappy open again, maybe we'll get some traction. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, no, I am.
I got
That's
both.
my Brett impression.
Yeah, I got both.
Both.
I got both reads going next week.
Paradox Brewery. Hey, we got Randy in the building. Original Randy.
Just way downtown over there.
Randy the dog.
Randy Dog.
The more important, the more likable Randy.
Yeah, the one that people care about.
Forgot about
Yeah.
that.
He's just
Is Randy going to show up on camera? He's camera shy right now.
He's being a good boy though.
Dylan got mad at him for trying to get on the couch earlier, so he's kind of gun shy.
Oh come on. He can get on the Wash Media couch. I don't really care about that one.
Yeah, it's fine.
Not the casting couch, though.
Yeah. Anyway.
What's that? We got a lot today, and we should probably get into it before we go 90 minutes like we did last week. Did you guys see The Rock just bought part of the XFL, or the XFL, I guess? He was part of a group, and he bought the XFL. Yes, that football league. How crazy is that? Pretty wild stuff, huh?
What are the odds?
I couldn't find any. I would put all my money on it happening.
Is this like a buy low, sell high situation? I mean, you got to think during a pandemic, you can't fill stands and that all that stuff going on. It's got to be worth very little at the moment, right? Am I thinking too much into this? What's going on with this?
15 mil. It was averaging like almost 2 million viewers per game. We don't know if college football is going to happen. If college football happens in the spring, the XFL is worthless this year. But I think any property that you can get that can average 2 million viewers a week or a game or whatever per broadcast is probably worth more than $15 million.
Right.
And that's pocket change for The Rock. And it's not like he was just a part of, like, he's not like a figurehead. He appears, his partners are like his ex-wife and some other dude. So, like, this is The Rock buying the XFL.
That's an interesting dynamic that he's going in with his ex-wife, Danny Garcia, I believe.
Yeah, she's like his business partner.
Yeah, it's going to be it's a bold move, depending, like I said, if college football is played in the spring, it changes things. But how much of this purchase is like how many are hard assets? Like, I'm not buying a storage locker full of helmets and shoulder pads, although he probably is. They're also buying like all of the teams and the IP and all of that. But all of the players and personnel's contracts probably aren't in the books with this deal. So it's not like hemorrhaging money per se.
Yeah, I think because they've gone through a bankruptcy.
Right.
So Bob Stoops is probably still waiting to get paid, but
pennies on the dollar.
The Renegades may continue in the future thanks to The Rock.
So you may have a year, though, to take to get this up and running. He may not have to start it until end of 2021, 2022 if he wants to do it well.
What if he just renames all the teams, like just rock bit names? So you've got like People's Elbow, Rock Bottom,
Rock is
Browse.
cooking.
What was the Skyscraper movie? Was it just called Skyscraper?
It was. It was called the other movie with the chick from True Detective season 1.
Oh,
She was in that. He was his
yeah.
She was his daughter.
right.
Unless that was San Andreas that I'm thinking of.
San Andreas.
That was San Andreas.
San Andreas,
Yeah.
yeah.
Alexander Daddario. That's the name.
Jumanji.
Oh, boy.
Jumanji 1 and 2.
She was in Jumanji?
No,
He-
but
Rock
Rock
was.
was.
So that
Oh,
could be
correct.
the name of a team.
He's the highest grossing actor because he just does all the movies, right? Isn't that kind of his thing?
It's him or Kevin Hart, and interestingly, they've linked up.
Him and or Kevin Hart, yeah. Although him being a part of the of the Fast and Furious series for like the last 3 or 4 upped that quite a bit because
Right.
that was a money haul if you could ever look for one. Now he's in Hobbs and Shaw.
That's the one where everybody hated each other, right? Like,
But they're it's all about family. That's the one you're thinking of.
okay.
Similar to Wilmont's.
Oh, yeah.
On screen, all about family. Off screen, I think they had.
Yes.
Vin did
They
not.
had some.
He didn't link with The Rock unless he had
Contentious.
to.
Mm.
I wonder if The Rock had to outbid Vin to acquire the XFL.
Who's worth more, Vin or The Rock?
The Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock.
I bet it's closer than you think.
Vin's been in the game a
Triple
minute.
Vin's done all right on
yeah.
the
Triple
Fast
X
and
is doing
Furious
okay.
series.
Why don't you give me a guess on his net worth?
Vin,
Mm-hmm.
119 million.
I'll go 45.
Oh, that was
Way
terrible.
low. Terrible.
That's really shit.
Vin's, I'm going to go 60.
Try 200,
Oh, boy.
Oh.
and then give me a guess on The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
385 million.
386.
Oh, get out of
475.
here.
Try 320. You guys are high.
Wow.
So not that much more than Vin.
I was in the ballpark.
I read something about this, though, that he also controls this company that's got $2 billion in assets or something, too. His production company. Something crazy.
It's all tied up though in shares. You know what I mean?
No, I think
It's
the
not liquid.
only
Is
thing
that where
that
you're going with this?
only thing that they manage is the live and HD and color television show Ballers. I think that's the only asset that they have, and that's the
It
company.
might
that
be
he owns.
worth $2 billion.
He's got a tequila out too.
yeah.
Terramana, I believe it's called.
Yeah,
He's
his,
diversified heavily.
his
Yeah.
statement mentions the word gratitude like 4 times because he's very into gratitude.
I noticed you included some audio here.
Yeah, do you have this
You
pulled
want me
up?
to cue it up?
Yeah, this is an interview The Rock did during the original XFL, and I think it holds up. It would explain why he'd want to purchase
Fans
this
are
asset.
electrified here, no question. Here in LA Coliseum, it's great to be here. It's great to support the XFL. It's one hell of a night.
There was some trash talking on that field tonight.
Good old JR.
A lot more of it. You never did that down in Miami much, did you?
Well, you know, The Rock was king of the trash talk down in Miami. He would make no doubt about telling The Rock will lay the smack down on your candy asses.
Thank you for including that.
It's beautiful.
Good. It's
Did he
still
say
good.
he'll lay the smackdown on your candy assets?
That's what he told Vin Diesel, actually.
Wow, this is not okay. Well, this is legitimately the original XFL. I was thinking like last season,
No.
not reboot.
No, this is He Hate Me's league.
That's my XFL personally. I'm gonna give this a shot to earn my business.
That's
though.
a midfield kickoff scrum.
You're an
and all of that.
XFL 1.0 guy. You got in on the
Exactly.
ground floor.
I was ground floor. I'm excited for this. Human Randy's got a buddy who plays for the Renegades. You know, that's Stoops' team. I wonder if Stoops will be back.
It will only enhance his followers if he is.
This will only enhance his followers.
You have to think, right?
Oh, it might be my favorite audio drop now. It's a lot of fun.
There's a couple things I've done really well on Twitter. That's one of them. That's one of the two.
Yeah.
The other one is Miami Dolphins draft guy.
Yeah.
Those are like the two biggest contributions to media.
I think it's going to be a stretch to see if any of the current associated coaches, with the exception of like June Jones and that whole squad, if they're out there like coming back to be a part of it, just because of how cyclical sports will be, whatever. But who knows? With college football getting pushed and contracts stretching out, it's going to be a weird time. They may want to call a former intern of you guys, see if he's ready for a big coaching gig or front office gig.
Peyton?
Killshot?
All of the above or Klein.
Intern Klein.
One of the two.
He is actually in football.
Well, intern Luke is a big finance guy now, so maybe he's got a role in the league. Isn't that the same thing?
It's not.
Man, intern Luke,
It's numbers and shit.
He's gonna appreciate that shout.
he came to our Dallas meetup.
Was he swagging?
It's available to do
He's
my
still
taxes.
a listener, man. But we were at the. I'm just gonna totally out this guy. No one really knows who he is. It doesn't matter. What's
Just
up, Luke?
insult him
I like
before you
Luke.
out
I
him.
love it. You're raising
But-
his clout.
I was at the bar ordering a beer. He comes up next, and you were kind of bullshitting for a sec there, and then we stopped talking. But I'm still waiting for my drink to come. He pulls out his camera and tries to like sneak a video of me. Like, look, what are you doing? Like, I know you, man. Like, we
worked together for a number
I've
of
known
months.
you for like 3 or 4 years. Like, stop. It was weird.
Who is he going to send that to?
I don't know.
His squad? Like,
Trying to go viral.
Well, I
friends.
don't know.
We
Was
can
he
just take a
Like,
photo.
let's just
Is
take a
afraid of your
pic.
cameo
You
rates or
freak.
what?
I don't know what's going on, man.
Dude, what if he was going to sneak a video pic of your feet?
I was
and
about
he's
to
gonna
say.
sell it.
Who knows, man? It was weird.
We know there's high demand for
Shouts
that.
to Luke, though.
Yeah.
Little creep.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Talk about the yay boo reaction for him. He's like, "Oh man, I was mentioned on the pod." He
Yeah.
gets to the end of it. He's like,
It's
yeah, fast
normally
forward,
how it
skip
goes
forward.
when people not affiliated with us get mentioned. Intern Klein gets this like every week.
I gave Luke a lot of shit when we were at Grand X, and he still liked me through all of it. So
Is he the one that you beat the shit out of?
Yeah,
Like just right there in front of the entire company, like
Yeah.
during lunch?
because he was taking too long at the little water fountain thing, and I was thirsty, and I just slammed his head against it. And,
Yeah. Had
yeah,
to get like 18 stitches.
yeah.
Had some swelling.
I have a temper, so
Well, shout out to Luke.
yeah.
He was the one he was at Micah's desk working more than Micah. Micah had a desk that he was never at, and Luke, you just look over like wanting to be like, "Hey, Micah, where's that?" And then it'd just be Luke. You're like, "Jesus, Luke, you scared me."
Well, I gave him a hard time because he just, for some reason, just let himself go while we were working there. Like, didn't cut his hair,
okay.
didn't shave.
He's
I was
really
like,
taking L's.
like, Luke, you're acting like it's finals week for like the last like 4 months straight. Like, take care of yourself.
he really did let that beard grow.
Come out of the stacks, man.
I hope he's doing all right. Good kid.
Anything else on the Rock?
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, I'll just say this before the next segment: college football can't get here soon enough.
Yeah, sure.
You guys seeing the Pac-12? You guys see these players? The list of demands.
I haven't read their list, but I know that they put one out.
They did. We
What
could
are
go
they
through it
saying?
line by line.
I really like how they dropped it in Derek Jeter's publication, the Players Tribune.
Mm-hmm.
Shouts to DJ.
Okay, so who all owns that? Is it just the Jeets, or is it like a group with the Jeets?
I mean, I don't think Derek Jeter probably pays. I read a whole thing about what a total failure that was. I haven't heard anything from the Players Tribune in years. At this
I haven't
point.
read it since KD's.
Yeah, I was supposed to say KD was on there, and they did a special on Maya Moore, getting the guy out of jail or prison. But I agree, Players Tribune is a non-player, but I like that it's an outlet. That's an option for players to, essentially do a long form
It's back
tweet.
in business.
Who wants to?
Oh, this is a serious list.
I was about to say, who wants to man the ship of hitting the high points off this list?
So, starts out COVID-19 protections allow option to not play during the pandemic without losing athletics eligibility or a spot on the team's roster. Prohibit/void COVID-19 agreements that waive liability. I think that's completely fair. I think most reasonable people would.
To frame this is, I think we said Pac-12 players, but essentially a non-unionized collection of players from the Pac-12 released a laundry list of somewhat demands, and this is kind of what was in them. I agree. The COVID-19 stuff should be standard. It kind of echoes back to the story about a month or two ago. We saw of 30 UCLA players banded together to say they didn't trust Chip Kelly's COVID-19 protocol, so they wanted an outside party to evaluate like everything that would be put in place, which seemed pretty damning at the time, but it was later walked back, which we can get to in a minute.
Yeah. No, wait, is it true that they would be potentially losing scholarships if they opt out?
No. So after reading through this story and the feedback, let's hit the high points and I'll go to the Pac-12 response.
Okay, now they want some mandatory safety standards, including COVID-19 measures, player-approved health and safety standards enforced by a third party, like you just mentioned, selected by players to address COVID as well as serious injury, abuse, or death. Interesting. Okay. A lot of this is stuff, minus the COVID stuff that's been talked about for a long time. Protect all sports. Preserve all existing sports by eliminating excessive expenditures. This is where we kind of get
Here's where the record scratch happens.
Salary cuts, looks like.
Where they mentioned Larry Scott, commissioner, the highest paid commissioner in all of sports, I think. But, well, not in all of sports, but certainly college sports. Larry Scott, administrators and coaches are to voluntarily and drastically reduce excessive pay. I don't think that's something Larry Scott is going to voluntarily do.
He's a trash can in and of himself. Of all the commissioners, he's definitely up there as one of the worst. We skip down to the next one. They threw out they used Stanford's endowment for the previous point, which we can come back to. But for the next point they wanted to hit was end racial injustice in college sports and society. This was kind of seemingly a curveball, but when followed up with several of the players looked at this as an opportunity where our voice is amplified. Why not string all of these things together? They felt like a lot of this was a byproduct of the George Floyd death and asked themselves, what can we do with this platform? What are we capable of? But when they started those conversations, a lot of people, rightfully so, kind of thought COVID might be, not a thing of the past, but not as much of a threat as it still is by the time season rolled around. So it kind of grew from that. So that's why that became a part of it. Economic freedom and equity, including guaranteed medical expense coverage, not just for non-COVID related injuries, but also for COVID related illnesses and anything that lasts after that. The name, image, likeness, and rights representation, be able to get paid off their name, image, and likeness, which that's something that's already come down the pipeline.
They want the IP,
states.
KJ.
They want to be able to take their IP. Who would ever want to start a podcast, maybe kill off a host or two and then keep said podcast, all of the names and the back episodes? Jeez. Sorry, I'm projecting. Fair market pay, rights, and freedoms. Basically distribute conference. Basically want shared revenue, or what do you call it? Profit sharing from the revenue down to the players. And then we can jump to the next one. So this was their laundry list. It's a good article that's on the Players Tribune. If only read from the context of could you have even imagined 10 years ago having a collection of 400 college students and athletes being like, hey, we want something more than just for, ourselves and about me, so to speak here. So that's impressive. But to jump to your question about, will they lose their scholarships? Larry Scott was reached for comment on this story, and his response was, we had already communicated to them that all players' scholarships would be protected. Now, what they can't promise is, would your eligibility be protected? Would your position on the team be protected? Because they can still say, we'll honor covering the cost of your attendance, but it doesn't mean you're still a part of our 85 as we bring in the next high schoolers. And it doesn't mean that you're not a year older and we don't have, the next hot shit coming in.
I got to make a confession. I don't know much about Larry Scott at all. What is his background? You called him a trash cannon?
Yeah, he's a shitbird for the reason being that and a lot of this is secondhand from Ben Muth, who writes for Football Outsiders, does college football podcasts. But his opinion of Larry Scott is based upon the fact that there was a lot of talk of where the Pac-12 offices should be located. Larry Scott decided to locate them in San Francisco in one of the most expensive offices, pay himself more than even George Sankey or Greg Sankey from SEC gets paid. It's $12 million to $9 million or $10 million or something like that. Pac-12 clearly does not, generate the same revenue. Big part of that is there were discussions of have the Pac-12's games on at times that may have been a little more inconvenient to the schools, but would have been so much more exposure and so much more revenue for the schools. Larry Scott did not, opt into that. So basically, it spent more money than any other commissioner on their facilities and just like conference-related shit, and generated less revenue for said conference.
He also, a report from March of last year, stayed at a $7,500 per night suite with a private butler in Las Vegas. And there's many stories of this, like him just doing this excessive, elaborate spending on private jets and swanky suites.
$7,500 a night. That doesn't even seem real to me.
I'm pissed that there's only Butler. Like, give me more than Butler. And I'm not dropping $7,500 at the Aria. No
Do you want to know some of the perks here? 24-hour personalized butler service, fully stocked bar with exclusively selected wine, spirits, and champagne, complimentary bottle of Veuve and chocolate-covered strawberries upon arrival. Access to a private elevator, which is nice.
Dude, I love that. Like for moving in and moving out purposes.
Complimentary iPad laptop for use during stay. That's important. He's got to get some work done.
Do not touch that complimentary iPad. that thing has just been a crank.
That's crank
fiesta.
central.
There's still some white residue.
A 20-inch LCD television in the bathroom and a marble jacuzzi soaking tub.
Soaking tub.
I don't think I want to sit in that either.
What's the shower that comes from all angles? A Swedish,
yeah.
Does it have that? If it doesn't have that, it's not worth it.
Those are tight.
Those are tight.
It's
just all angles.
Monumental waste of water, but it is fun.
But every nook and cranny in the body.
Oh yeah, it gets
every orifice.
You're gonna get wet.
You're gonna get wet
everywhere, right, Micah? You don't talk about
that's
it.
the $13 premium wash, right?
Just a full detail.
$30 for the monthly.
So I haven't read this entire article. Are they threatening to basically go on strike and not participate in sports?
Valid and great question, because that was asked of basically everybody. So how this started, David and I were talking about this earlier, is like, how's the hell did this even begin? There was a center or a lineman at Cal who had this idea, talked to a couple players, talked to safety at Oregon, and it grew from 12 players who are the ones who put their names on this to saying that there were up to 400 players behind them that agreed to this. Now, the question of what's their leverage? Are they going to opt out and not play? They want to be given the opportunity to opt out, knowing full well that even the 12 that started it don't necessarily intend to opt out, because you've got players who, may be on the brink of going to the league, players who are ready to graduate and move on with their lives, but other players who may be sophomores, freshmen, juniors who are coming back and or have things to prove from an athletic standpoint that don't want to be forced with, I have to play and or else, basically. They just want to alleviate that pressure and give them an opportunity. Okay. Now, I don't think that's a wise way to go into it and be like, hey, we're going to use all our leverage, but we may or may not even actually opt out, and we know it because they're saying that out front. There's an extra factor in this whole story, and I've got to find this guy's name, because I mentioned the UCLA story earlier about Chip Kelly and not being trusted. And then if you guys remember back in maybe it's 2014 or 2016, I don't know off the top of my head, back when Northwestern was talking about unionizing. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like the actual players were talking about forming a union. It was a big deal. That was led by a guy who was a former UCLA player called Ramogi Huma. He's the founder of the National College Players Association. Started that in 2001. And essentially, he seems to be a part of this situation here too. The reason why that's kind of key is because when that UCLA player, 30-player contingency came up and the letter was put in the media, immediately the one guy whose name was at the top of it was like, whoa. We agreed to write this letter. We didn't agree to use it in this manner. Apparently this Ramogi Huma guy kind of seems like co-opt some. He's like the Sean King of college football player problems, co-opt and then bastardize it in a way. So when they say we've got 400 players behind us, it may not be quite that, because whenever Northwestern was talking about unionizing, apparently it was 2 players who were fully on board with unionizing, and the other players were like, hey, it sounds like a good idea, but I'm not going to quit over it.
Yeah.
So who knows how real this is because of this guy's involvement. There's some valid examples as to why you might want to doubt it.
So it had really nothing to do with the COVID stuff, but we saw the University of Texas, we saw Texas football do something similar with their list of demands for the school, and it was the racial justice aspect. I'm wondering if this is going to hit the Big 12, because you got to think if there's already like the foundation there on like a school like Texas, if they're going to adopt this, or if they would co-sign it or just release their own.
Yeah.
I can see it being a good idea for some players.
I
But
can see it
switch out the
catching. I can
names.
see it absolutely catching on.
What's that Texas endowment looking like?
It's thick.
That's a thing. I'm going to jump out in front of this before Micah asks me like some legal question that I can't help him with. Like, I don't know. I never like really got into endowment stuff during my legal career. That might shock many of you. But one thing to remember is like, I don't think a school can just go dip into the endowment for anything. Like, I think there's a lot of accounting and legal principles at play here that prevent them. And, that money's earmarked and used for certain things. And it can't just be like, let's pay players. Let's go and dip into the endowment. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't do all those things, but I'm just saying that that's a demand that may not get satisfied. But worth noting, this is a negotiation, and you always go in with just every demand. It's the Trump method. We've seen this before.
I agree, and it came up using Stanford's $27.7 billion endowment as reason as to why they shouldn't have canceled a couple of sports that they've announced we won't be generating enough revenue to keep around, like Stanford soccer. I wish I knew the sports. And they were like, that's BS. You've got $27.7 billion in endowment. As David was saying, like, an endowment comes from, rich assholes. Actually, I take that back. Generous and kind, rich donors, and revenue generators.
Some assholes, probably.
And some
I donated
assholes,
$50
definitely.
to Texas State one time.
I was bamboozled by SMU's in their 100-year campaign or second century campaign that I was told supposed to raise $100 million. I looked the other day and it raised like $1.5 billion. I'm like, you didn't need my $20. Please give it back.
How much of that was from the St. Louis gun couple?
A considerable amount from that law.
Are they
SMU law school.
SMU law, yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, it's given by people who, let's say you went to school, and just to the art school, and you became famous as a sculptor, and you want to give back to the art school. Like, you give your gift specifically to, like, the sculpture lounge. I don't know if that's a thing.
It should be if it's not. That's a new segment here. The Sculpture Lounge.
You're not trying to give it to buy more Gatorade. Like, in fact, you probably are saying, like, do not ever give this money to an athletic program or to somebody else. And that's a big part of those gifts. And so I don't think that schools should brag about their endowments as much or list that shit so much.
Mine would just be like, this money must go so that the players can have Gatorade Frost on the sideline.
And only Frost. Don't buy any other shit.
No, the occasional Riptide Rush. And that's it. That's my donation. Let me say this. This podcast supports the end of racial injustice in college sports and society.
Sure.
Can we say that?
Sure.
So we do support that.
Means a lot.
The addition of "and society" in that third point there is quite ambitious, but why not go for all of it, right?
I love that.
Take a big swing.
College football is a
Sure.
big deal, man.
Sure.
It can't get here
Sure.
soon enough,
You
Dylan.
can't.
Let's see. Anything else on this?
The other thing, they wanted 50% of the sport's total conference revenue evenly split amongst athletes in their respective sports, and 6-year athletic scholarships to foster undergraduate and graduate degree completion. There's some other stuff here.
Just give me some more time. No, take summer school. I'm not touching the pay players thing right now. I said
you want to.
I want to. A lot of people
Why
will
not?
not agree because, okay, here's the thing. Most of the time when people have this argument about whether or not you should pay players, they're just like, look at how much money X is making and look how little Y is getting. And they're not ever looking at it from perspective, okay, what do the players get? And they're like, oh, you get school paid for it. And they're like, oh, that's worthless. But then they don't take into account like stipends that players get, per month for the entire semester you're enrolled. Like,
I know it varies, but how much is a typical stipend
at Texas Tech,
for a football player?
I mean, it's been some time. I think now I looked up, it's about $3,100 a month now for Texas Tech. Rent is in Lubbock, like furnished apartment for one person would be like $700, $600.
$3,100 a month?
Yes, and it was $2,600 or $2,400 when I was there. SMU's was $27-ish or $28 at the time, and then that's gone up. Alabama's I looked up is like $4,600 or $4,700 a month. Now this is for scholarship players during the semester that they're enrolled in class. So you have a fall section, a spring section, and then you're encouraged to take summer school. It's not monthly. It's dished out a little bit different, but you're still getting paid.
Okay.
Now that money's supposed to go. You get less if you're in a dorm. You get more if you're off campus, and naturally you get some roommates. You got a little left over. It's not going to make you rich, but there's money there. So
I mean, the idea behind it, I guess, is because you can't really get a 9 to 5. You can't work to support yourself.
Theoretically, you're discouraged from working.
Your work is your craft, your sport that you're putting all the time into.
Increase the money that goes into stipends for sure, and or create money for non-scholarship athletes. I'm all on board for that. But the concept of like allowing in
like revenue
agents
sharing
and all this stuff and saying 50% profit sharing, like that's just not, it's not going to happen, not going to work.
Okay. 50% is a big number. I mean, like we said,
Nick Saban's going back to the Dolphins if that happens.
Yeah.
You guys ever read The Art of the Deal?
No.
You should check it out. It's really good.
Who wrote that again?
Who ghost wrote it or who wrote it?
Well, I've heard it's the second best book ever behind the Bible.
Yeah.
Somebody gave me that book. I think it was
he's
Joe.
never
This book.
Yeah, things are. We seem to be at an inflection point.
Are you a New or Old Testament guy? I kind of like them both
equally.
Okay.
So David threw out that third rail, and we all just kind of looked at it.
Okay.
I see here that college football needs a czar per Micah, and he's throwing out some pretty dope arguments here.
Yeah, I wanted to speak on this because we have 5 major conferences, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Power 5. They all have different rules, different scheduling, different start dates, including the Big 12 starting camp this Friday, which seems a little wild. It seems very apparent. Part of what makes college football fun is that it is chaos. The NCAA is sort of a ruling body, but they don't put on the championship, so they don't get the money, and so it's all this chaotic thing, and it's different. And that's kind of what makes it fun. But Mac Brown has come out and said that college football needs a czar, and I was just thinking that of the 4 of us here, maybe one of us could do this, and I wanted to go over some pros and cons. Dave on the surface seems to be the most likely candidate. He's an attorney.
Thank you.
Which is great.
Esquire.
I feel like you'd be a really good guest with Paul Feinbaum, and that
I don't
seems
do
to
Feinbaum. I only
Even
do Joe
better
Platt.
guest.
Well, I think you'd be great with Klatt, too. And, maybe Herb Street, whatever. I think you could really you'd feel natural seeing on game day there.
Feinbaum would give me my mentions would just be a nightmare.
Yeah, you want to avoid that.
I'd have SEC Nation.
Yeah, who's this
coming
cuck
from.
on Feinbaum?
Oh, yeah. It's the liberal, the Texas liberal cuck.
I feel like you could kind of turn on the Mac Brown. I really think Mac Brown is really the perfect person for this in some ways because
Well,
you can
that's
just
very nice of you, Micah.
you turn on the Mac Brown folksiness.
You and Sally.
He's still putting on a recruiting clinic.
Oh, no
yes.
joke.
Jeez, man.
Bet you wish you had him now, don't you?
No.
Dylan, I think you're a good candidate though too. You have extensive campus experience with America's Youth,
I don't know
Wow,
if
that's
that's
just a shot.
I don't know if that's accurate, but okay.
and we all know you're a certified football guy because you've been on the NFL Network before.
Yeah, for some reason the NFL Network asked me to appear on one of their shows. I didn't know what I was talking about, but I did.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
Remember they misspelled your Instagram handle?
They did.
I swooped
Yeah.
that up. I'm the D shivery re guy.
So you have you own the handle that was on NFL Network.
Yeah,
Good
We
for
should
you.
buy that.
Good for you.
the IP is available for purchase.
Man,
Okay, let's talk
I
after
was
this.
so hungover during that. Jeez.
Wait, was this like a top 100 type?
Exactly.
Best runs.
We did best NFL runs of all time.
Who did you get? Did you get
What?
Emmett or did you get? No, you got Walter Payton.
No.
Barry.
Dorset maybe.
I'm gonna name every running back.
Tony Dorsett.
Go.
Yeah, I mean,
Just got dream cucked here. Like as much as Will's dream is to like do the smoke for the Lions running out, all I've ever wanted to do is be on like VH1's like pop up video, cut in Where Are They Now, and just like have a little thing to say about, I don't know.
Like the Mo Rocca of NFL breakdown. Like
Exactly.
I drop a couple lines on there. It was fun.
Let me just talk about where Tantric is today once.
dude, what was your thing? You're like, man, that guy could really run.
No, he asked me. They asked me like, what are some elements of what you would define as like one of the greatest runs of all time? I said you got to pull away from somebody, you got to break a tackle, and like something like ridiculous has to happen, something like that, something spectacular has to happen during the run, and they aired that clip.
Can I
Reggie
ask you?
Bush cut back.
Oh,
That was sick.
can I ask you a question though? Did you have to pay somebody $20 for finding Jason Witten broken tackle from the last 2 years?
I did, yeah.
Is that this podcast or circling back?
No, that was Circling Black's Friday.
I
thank
did,
you.
but the video they found was from 2015, so it's not like they had, it went back to 2018 or something. But and the tackle that he broke, it was a goal line, like he was running into the end zone. Some guy confronted him at the 1 yard line. He kind of spun off of it and fell into the end zone. So technically, it was a broken tackle. He didn't really break a tackle.
He still
though.
fell down at the end of the engagement.
Yeah,
Like in the open field, that's a tackle.
He scored. Like he advanced beyond contact. So whatever.
Then they went on to win the Super Bowl.
No.
There's a case for KJ as well. He actually has college football experience at 2 different schools. That's good. He's plugged in with America's most prominent broadcasters, and he's clearly not afraid to travel for a totally thankless job.
That's right.
Here for it.
And, there is an argument to be made that I could be the czar. I'm certainly willing to look like a total moron for cash. And, I'd be willing to be the Roger Goodell, where I'm just in over my head, but stupid rich and incompetent. I feel like I'd be willing to do that. I could be the bidder.
Do you think your career as the
I could
power
be the
plant
puppet.
proprietor would hurt you or help you?
A lot of these leagues seem to be embracing gaming and gambling, so perhaps it would give me an edge.
That's true.
My vote goes to Micah.
I don't think well, sure, I'm available.
What
You
if
don't
they
want
pull
the
up-
man that wants the
If
job.
they pull up your old power plant videos, how you gonna explain that?
It's electric.
You gonna bring that back at some point? Or
Hard
variation?
to say. Hard to say. You know what I am bringing, though?
We've been missing it.
It's plug time.
Oh, no.
Jesus.
Hey, I don't know if you guys know this, because I posted
Is this about a fucking newsletter? I swear.
19 tweets over the last
What happened? Did you get hacked?
No, I found TweetDeck again,
Dave,
and so I've just been scheduling a lot of
He
tweets.
tweeted while we were recording this. By the way, like he just did one.
Dude, stop tweeting.
Well, they're scheduled on TweetDeck.
Oh, okay.
You guys should subscribe to Micah's Read of the Week, the newsletter. The first edition is now live. It dropped while we were recording.
Mama, there goes that man.
You can find the link in my bio on
Micah.
Twitter or Instagram at Micah Weiner.
All right.
MICAHWIENER.
1,
Join my newsletter, please.
2,
It's free.
3, 4, 5 tweets from @producer Micah. The other account, I don't know how many times that one's tweeted.
There's probably 5 from the Micah Weiner account as well.
Let me tell you this. I will only subscribe to this if you go in on Texas local politics. Texas, I'm talking like city of Austin, Travis County. Like, I want you to just absolutely murk somebody.
That is in the cards. There's
Okay.
also
Murk
great
someone.
stuff about interest things. The only criteria at the moment are things that are interesting to me.
I want you to
I think
murk,
you'll enjoy it.
murk someone in front of all 13 of your subscribers.
You know,
That's not nice.
we're currently
kidding.
we're currently at a factor of 10 of that, Dorn.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Look
Oh,
at you,
damn.
man.
People are really excited.
Newsletter, it's where it's at.
We're really changing the game here.
I want more on Mayor Beth Van Dyne, former Mayor Beth Van Dyne, and her U.S. congressional run in the Compel area of North Texas. Give me more on that and see how she's rebounded from Clock Boy.
Oh, people forget about Clock
Oh,
Boy.
people
How
really
dare
do.
they?
That's some North Dallas politics for you.
Clock Boy.
We're going to pivot from Big 12 to big ass 12-year-olds.
Did y'all see that big ass
Well
12-year-old? I don't know if you guys had a chance to look.
I did not.
It's on the rundown. I put a link. You'll see it says viral tweet.
I can see that.
Yeah, I saw some big accounts quote tweeting it, and
This
I
kid's
realized
12?
Yes, dude. 6'4", 298 pounds, 12 years old, O-line and D-line.
Yep.
He can go both ways.
Is this like Danny Almonte, 12 years old, or is this kid legit?
This is
Legit.
it's weird saying like a 12-year-old's name, but I'm going to put some respect on it.
If
Aquarius Green.
If Parks were to catch up to this young man's growth pace, he would need to gain 263 pounds over the next 7 years.
We can make it happen.
Probably not going to happen.
We've got those Orgain protein
Oh
shakes in
my
the fridge.
gosh.
Orgain and CC's nonstop.
See, dude, just carbs and teen.
What are they feeding this kid?
It looks like an optical illusion looking at his jersey numbers. Like as he gets closer, the numbers get smaller.
He looks like he's like rookie camp NFL rookie camp. Like I don't. Oh my god.
He's very similar. Yeah,
He's got the measurables of a starting, left guard in college football right now.
6'4", 298.
Hey, can I give you guys the real rub of this story? Pretty sure this kid's gonna end up at Duncanville.
Really?
Only reason we're doing
He
this.
lives in
No,
DFW area?
dude, I don't know. I think he's from Peoria, but he's playing in like a 8th grade select football team, the NTX Bison. But he retweets all the Duncanville football tweets. He retweets anytime a Duncanville player gets an offer. I'm assuming he's going to somehow end up in the Duncanville program.
Well, he has 314 Twitter followers, and his link in bio website is bigbabydripgod.com,
I love that.
which
I love that
actually
for him.
doesn't work.
It
But
does. Unfortunately,
it's a broken link, but I do
the
love
biggest
that.
disappointment.
Big Baby
Who
Drip
owns
God.
Big Baby Drip God, and
Yeah,
why
I think-
did they not give it
I
to
think
You would
Aquarius?
A fan
expect him to be like sloppy and uncoordinated. He's not.
The technique
Like he
was great.
carries it.
Give me the footwork breakdown, KJ. That's why you're here, man.
The
X's and O's.
first thing I said, like Dylan's noticed, is the technique was is exquisite on this 12-year-old, which I never thought I'd be saying those words, but it is. He fires out of his stance, keeps his hands close to his chest, little short, choppy steps. That's what you want to see. It is pretty great to see the identical haircut between him, the quarterback, and the guard, because then you see just how massive this kid is. It's like in all three sides, it's like one of those little Russian dolls just unfolding before your eyes.
So we were watching some highlights of his basketball career before the podcast.
His 6th grade highlights.
His 6th grade highlight tape. Like I know it's basketball and it's limited contact, but like at some point you're like, dude, you can't play with the 6th graders, man. Like,
Yeah.
legitimately, like Greg Oden, man amongst boys.
Mm-hmm. There's one thing I will point out, and this is you'll see my same techniques. You got to look for the details. It validates his size and the fact that you can see that he has a team issued jersey. He does not have a team issued pair of pants. The rest of the team has one color pants. He clearly had to go to the local high school or junior college to get a pair of pants, and they are not in the same colors.
At what age can you start getting offers?
I've seen it as young as 6th or 7th grade, but usually they're like, just for the clout.
Yeah.
Lane
Yeah.
Kiffin will kick an offer to like a 7th grader just to get the attention.
So you know what? I think he got offered by Georgia because he tweeted out Georgia football, a photo of their logo, and it says, "Yes, sir, #BigBabyFootball." So he's really leaning in on the
Dude,
big
he's got his
baby
own
stuff.
hashtag.
The
Like,
Big
that's
Baby
sick.
Drip God.
I can't wait to see him tweet out, "I just received my 37th offer from the University of Miami." And I'm like, every time I see these tweets, I'm like, rule number 1, don't tweet kids. Don't tweet high school kids or athletes or recruits of any kind.
Are you talking to me specifically?
I'm just saying the general public out there, just a golden rule. But if you were to maybe tweet at the recruitment journalists who you may know, shout out Mike Roach, and then like subtweet the kid and be like, "Hey, did this kid get 36 other offers from this same university or what?" And then see how that goes, because their parents will tweet back at you. It's not good.
So my favorite move is the fan, like the super fan of like the Blue Blood program, and like when a kid chooses another school, they'll respond and they'll be like, "I'm happy for you. I'm sad you didn't pick Texas, but you're going to be a great player wherever you go." And it's like, okay, dude, he's not going to date you.
Or they go the other way and say like, "Oh, you're just afraid of the competition. You just wanted an easy starting
Big
job."
fish, small pond, huh?
You didn't see my respect my decision line?
Those men are absolute losers.
So-
Like just straight up, they're just losers.
If I had to pull out the United States map and put a little heat map over it of where those tweets come from, any section of the country you might want to paint with a little hotter red than others.
I don't think I want to go there right now.
Do it. Name
Dude,
names.
this is the show that goes there.
No, this red and blue map is a different map, but yes, it might look quite the same.
Oh,
I'll just go ahead and say Ohio.
Okay.
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 I'm just taking shots. I'm having fun.
Can I make a shameless appeal to anyone in Dayton, Ohio? I have a very unique first name. It's Kajan. For some unknown reason, there's a street sign with my actual spelling name, Kajan, in Dayton, Ohio.
Are you asking someone to steal it for you?
Steal that shit.
Dude, yeah.
$10 for a picture of you with it. $50 you mail that shit to me.
We'll send you a mouse.
Spelled the same?
A mouse pad.
Kajean. Want that.
Do you know the origin of that name?
No reason it exists except for my parents are from Podunk, middle of nowhere. Actually, Decatur's not that small. It was just a dumb name.
Okay.
Moving quite along.
Well, let me just throw this out there. Did you guys know that currently on Duncanville's O-line, they have a 6'6", 320-pound sophomore, Cam Williams? Class of 2022, that's sophomore, right?
Hard to
Either
say.
way, it's a big fucking
No, junior.
kid.
'Cause
Junior.
you would be entering your senior year for 2021 right now.
6'6", 320.
Has Tom Herman been in communication with this young man?
I'm almost confident he has an offer from every school in the
Has he
country.
stayed the night at his house yet? Because that's a thing, right?
People
That's
just
what Urban Meyer does, right?
Jim or
I think it's
Harbaugh.
Harbaugh, yeah.
Wouldn't he having milk parties or something?
God,
Yeah,
can you
that
imagine?
Oh, it is horrible.
That led to Will DeFreeze drinking a gallon of milk on our podcast once.
Can you imagine
What?
Urban Meyer staying the night at your house and how
It was a
fucking,
bad move. I think there was vomiting afterwards.
Oh,
I don't remember that.
It was backdoor cover.
Oh, yeah. Why would Will do that?
He thought it was a good idea. And it was actually like a day where he was leaving at lunch to go fly somewhere.
So he's going on vacation, so he felt bad. So he's like, all right, I'm going to come in and drink some milk with the boys.
He's like, oh, I can drink a gallon of milk. That's no big deal. The story was that Harbaugh drank like 4 gallons a day or something, or drank it at every meal. And Will's like, that's no big deal. I can drink a gallon. And he just sat there and drank it during the podcast, and then he had to go sit on an airplane. And I was like, this is a bad idea. Bad idea, fam.
That's terrible. I remember that. Yeah.
Man, I don't. Dude, Backdoor Cover had some underrated
We
bits.
were just some real dumb.
You know,
bums
backdoor
back
cover
then.
continues. You can still subscribe.
be a
All right.
real shame if anyone
We're
ever
not
clicked
plugging
on that.
another sports podcast.
Exactly.
Big jerk.
God, come in here. Just plugging away. You got a newsletter you want to plug too?
There's no. You guys teased me. I thought I was going to be on the big show this morning, but it just didn't happen. Got to
Way
get my
to
plugs in
air
now.
it out.
Yeah. I forgot that we were doing
Oh,
remote.
yeah.
It's
Will.
cool, though. I mean, I'm not mad.
Dylan didn't
I didn't
remember
know
till
that
just
was
now.
happening.
There's no animosity. I'm
Okay.
just- there's some breaking news here.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
Former TCU linebacker makes an explosive allegation that Gary Patterson used the N-word twice, and that the defense refused to go to practice this morning.
What? You know,
Allow
this
me a
might be
moment to
unfair,
cry.
but
No.
this might be unfair, but that's not surprising. He seems like the type.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not. Look. Okay.
And again, it might be totally unfair.
I've never heard. The only thing I've heard negative about Gary P is that it's just that he's a whiner. Like in loss, he's just pouring. He used to be really bad in defeat. I'm thinking a lot during the Bryles years. Like he hated losing to Art Bryles, and it looked like he was the good guy in that whole rivalry. But if this is true,
I should also be clear. It's not a former linebacker. This is an active linebacker on
Oh.
the team, making what I think
Was
is
this-
fair to say an explosive
Was this recent?
allegation. Today, they did not practice this morning.
Oh, so like, okay.
I don't
Is
know
this
when.
based-
I don't
okay.
know when the N-word was
that's what I'm
allegedly
curious
used,
about.
but
okay.
um,
Wow.
I mean,
this is not great.
this is the greatest news you could have ever broken. This is awesome. As
I don't think KJ's a TCU guy. Is what I'm gathering.
Yeah, it's so it appears.
man, this is okay. Here's my issue with Coach Patterson. As a proud SMU alum and Texas Tech player briefly, we got smashed by TCU the year I was at Tech. I wasn't there. I was redshirted. But anyways, my problem with Coach Patterson is that he's praised as like this Bill Belichickian like mastermind of defense, and his players play the right way, and he's built this program up from nothing, which to his credit, TCU's program was basically where SMU's was 15, 20 years ago, and they are a legitimate tier 1 team now, and that is just incredible of what he's done over the last 17, 18 years. What I'm not on board with is there's a statue of that 5'6" MFer on their campus already. So
is he only 5'6"?
I don't know. I'm just saying it's time to Robert E.
Building
Lee.
statues.
We
of-
like our short kings too.
building statues of active football coaches is just not it's a bad policy.
Really, of anyone is not a good idea.
Yeah, truly. Anyone who's alive
So,
is probably bad.
we might have to Robert E. Lee that soon. But my issue with him is that he's praised as like this great coach in that he's built this program the right way. And year in, year out, they have a player or players who end up in the news for, and I'll say it, beating their girlfriend, getting involved. Casey Paha, their starting quarterback, being busted in like a drug ring. And then they had to name the like drug rehab school on campus after Coach Patterson because he wanted Paha to come back and play. Boykin isn't, asshat. So like they've had all of these players here, and he should be looked at, in my opinion, no different than like Marvin Lewis was in the NFL. Of like all the terrible players who would come through the Bengals and just get into shit, and they'd be like, why does he still have his job? That's Gary Patterson.
Can I read just a little bit from this tweet?
The iron skillet.
It resides in Dallas right now.
Yes, it does.
This past Sunday was our third practice of fall camp. Coach Patterson called me out for posting my girlfriend on National Girlfriend Day in front of the defense.
Okay.
That's where it started.
That sounds very Leachian of him. That's
then
a Mike Leach move.
He said why, he asked why, and he said, "You're a fucking brat. I'll send you back to Pitt." And I said, and then it goes on, and then the N-word allegations happen.
Yeesh.
But you hate to see that you embarrass a man for posting a photo of his girlfriend.
Yeah, I've seen worse than that, but
At least he didn't say they're fat little girlfriends.
Classic.
Man, yeah, not good.
gosh,
Not a good situation.
Dude, that's it.
Sorry
man.
about that breaking news.
I'm clicking my heels getting
Funky
out of here.
town.
I just forgot my dog
Celebrating.
is sitting right here. Hey, buddy. Sorry. Okay, man, that's good breaking news. That's Brett's breaking news. You want to talk golf? We got a major this week.
Yeah, this snuck up on me, man. This morning I turned the TV on and I was reminded that we have a major this week.
Did you watch any of Memphis?
All I caught
South
was
Wind?
that bear crossing the fairway.
That bear was. That's the only highlight you got.
Here's a question before we get into the major talk. At what point, like you see these, you get these tournaments in the South, and you get long marshland, Louisiana. You'll see gators on the side there. You got bears cross. At what point does a golfer just get marked out there by something? You know what I mean?
You got to think pretty soon.
That bear.
The more we encroach on their environment.
That bear was 30, 40 yards away. If he wanted to take
There's a black bear, right?
take a beeline at one of those guys, it's over.
Those are the ones that you're supposed to make yourself as big as possible. Don't know how you do that. Like do some push-ups or bring the bands.
They just stood
Just
perfectly
get
still,
vascular and yell.
and it seemed to work.
I would assume Bryson is probably safe, but the rest of the tour might be in trouble.
Yeah, Bryson would just
JT's done.
put it in a headlock.
JT just gets pummeled.
He's
Just
an
crumpled.
appetizer. Yeah,
Just fold it up like a folding chair.
yeah, he's gonna get.
He didn't
crushed.
fold this weekend, though. He did
Wow.
win.
You brought it
That's
back.
true.
TPC Memphis.
That's true.
He did. I don't know if you saw the Brooks Koepka meltdown.
I did not.
It was, he put it in the water on was it 18? Whatever.
Hate to see it.
Kind of left a lot to be desired for the ending there. I was hoping for a JT Brooks playoff. That would have been sick. Ricky, who I had a little bit of this is a big boy stacks impromptu. Had some money on Ricky in his matchup against Brooks, and he did what he normally does, and that's just be very mediocre. So
Yeah. Looking ahead to the championship, PGA Championship this week, Harding Park in San Francisco. Tiger is back. Your favorites, Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka, John Rahm, Rory, and Bryson are your top five. On the betting end of things, Tiger is plus 3,300.
Okay.
So if you like Tiger,
A lot of public
he's
money
been
going
off
that
for a
way.
long time.
He's the
unfortunately.
cat.
That's true.
I'm looking at this. I think Rory won a match play event at Harding Park a few years back. I don't really know much like who's had the most success out here. Did you see DJ shaved his beard?
I did not.
It's just a bad look.
Why would
so
he do that?
I don't know. Plus 2,300. I'm out on DJ. Do like Daniel Berger though. He was in the mix this week. He's won twice already this year.
Randy, what do you think about him? Not big on Daniel Berger.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't sure which Randy you were talking to.
You just got Randy out of bed. He was dozing off over there. I don't know. Webb Simpson's probably a really good pick, as he normally is. He's one of the better players right now. I don't know. We should probably do some sort of more formal betting thing, but we need a sponsor. So, Brett, if you're listening, get us a bag.
We need a new sponsor alert.
I would kill for a TMD new sponsor alert.
Yeah.
NBA is back.
The NBA is back.
How much of this did y'all watch? Am I the only one who watched pretty much every game?
I watched all of that Rockets-Mavs game
Ooh.
because I was hanging out with my brother-in-law, who's a big Rockets guy.
Kendall?
Kendall. He's from Houston.
I don't want to hear it, Kendall.
He's
If
from
you're
Houston.
listening.
Look, I'm just happy that it's back. I I'm a Spurs guy. The Spurs, they're not going to do much.
That's untrue. Spurs 2-0 in the bubble, currently staying in ninth place. We're coming back for the playoffs.
So the Mavs losing an absolute must-win if they want to move up game to the Suns. Did that hurt the Spurs? Are they competing for the 8th seed with the Suns?
Yes, but the Spurs are a game and a half up on the Suns, I think.
Okay.
And the Spurs are what locked the Mavs into the playoffs, beating the Grizzlies.
Right.
Yes. The quality of play has been really good and very competitive. The games have been super close. That Rockets-Mavs game that we're talking about, well, I'm sure Dave has got some takes on it, was fucking remarkable, really. I think I saw something that teams that are up 7 with under 45 seconds to go are like 711-2 before the other day, and then they blew that one.
The Mavs are one of the least, like legit percentage-wise, one of the least clutch teams in the league.
Well,
they had 85 first half points.
Yeah, and they managed to lose. They lost twice this weekend.
They were up 7 with 45 seconds to go.
Rockets are just stealing games. They stole the game against Milwaukee yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw that. The Rockets are weird. I mean, we know this. They're starting PJ Tucker at center. And at the end of the game, Milwaukee's point guard, Giannis, who's like 6'11", is essentially just posting up Houston's center.
Covington? Was it
Covington? No, it was PJ. 6'7" dude. It was just very strange.
PJ
basketball.
is not 6'7", first of all.
Yeah, but that's true.
He needs like a boost just to dunk.
One of his 600 pairs of shoes have some heels in them.
Yeah.
But basketball's been good.
I mean,
I'm enjoying the bubble a lot, and I'm not much of an NBA regular season guy, but this has been fun.
It's been electric to watch the games starting even Thursday night. I can't recall who played that night.
That was
Lakers clip.
That was the
Clips,
Zion,
and Zion before that.
Yeah, New Orleans first.
Only played
15 minutes.
It's on a pitch count, and it's
lame.
Which I guess there's some merit to that. If you're the Pelicans, you know you need this guy for the next decade. You know that the odds of him going deep in these playoffs are slim. And even though he's had a lot of rest, like you probably want to ride him the right way and not to rush him back and risk any kind of injury, no matter how like chomping at the bit and how healthy he may be right now. So I get it. But other than that, it was very interesting to go from 4.5 months of no quote unquote real sports. You know, obviously we've had some golf. That's been great to watch. We've had some build-up games. And then Friday afternoon or evening was the first experience of like, as a fan of a team, let's engage, let's invest in an outcome. Things are going awesome. And then, oh yeah, this is why sports needs to go the fuck away. It sucked. It was the first sports hurt that I'd had in like almost a year.
Yeah. I forgot what that's like to especially the Mavs games have both started at 8 o'clock. And the Rockets one wasn't over till I feel like almost midnight.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I can't sleep. I'm going to be really, really angry as I'm getting ready for bed. So I just dropped into Verdansk. More on that later. And then last night, as the Mavs let a 15-point lead dwindle away in the second half against the Suns. Suns got some great players, but they're not there yet. The Mavs are definitely a better team. I think the Mavs are a better team than the Rockets. They're younger. I think they should beat the Rockets. I would pick the Mavs. Well, 6 months ago, I would have picked the Mavs to beat the Rockets in a series. Right now, they just have no crunch time offense. It completely falls apart. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're tuning out Carlisle at the end of games, but it's really odd. I think there might be a little bit of underlying tension between KP and Luka on who's going to be the guy. And Luka doesn't want to look like an a-hole, and he's trying to dish the ball. I don't know.
So they just got a Hardaway?
Hardaway was, I believe he's 0 of 8, 0 of 9 on the season from deep.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, I'll show my idiocy from a basketball details person, but in both games, you're in a position to where, I don't know, maybe having someone that's 7'4" and is an automatic bucket would benefit you towards the end of the game. Total liability defensively, but you just need an offensive bucket. And in neither game was Boban there for the rebound in the game against the Rockets or the final shot to try to go up before overtime or in the Suns game at the end of the game. I'm like, I know Boban's not built for that. That's not where you have him. But at least they're going to draw up their defense differently if you're not boxing out with Maxi Kleba to keep Covington from getting the rebound. That's about as detailed as I want to get.
The thing about the Mavs, and this was the last I'll say on it because I don't want to completely devolve into a hyper niche Mavs segment. You have to remember that They're very, very young. Their superstars are both under 25. Luka's 21, and he's in his second year in the league. There's gonna be growing pains. They need time. I think that everybody just got super horned up from the, knowing sports is back. We kind of all talked ourselves into them maybe moving up, getting out of that 7 seed so they don't have to play the Clippers. I don't know. Just temper expectations, but it does suck seeing them lose those kind of games. You're going to lose into the Rockets. That's not that big of a deal, right? The Rockets are a really good team. They got the best scorer in the league on their team. But you can't lose to Phoenix. Fuck. Especially when 2 of their best players have 5 fouls going into the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And they pay Ricky Rubio.
They do pay Ricky Rubio. First team all hair. Plus on the NBA, Micah.
No, the only other thing that I saw is that, and maybe it's because I've watched a lot of the Spurs this season, damn, there are a lot of three-pointers shot in the NBA in 2020. It is just, if you just watch for like 2 minutes, dudes are just firing threes. It's a lot.
The game has changed.
And I guess it's just, I've watched a lot of basketball, but in the 4 months, I've forgotten how many threes are just shot all the time.
We looked this up before the pod, but it's surprisingly easy to get on to apply for the digital fandom.
Yeah. So as you may have seen, if you've watched any of the games in the bubble, NBA has done a great job, as we talked about last week, of making the vibe and the feel of watching the sport seem engaging. And a part of that's been that they've covered the walls with virtual fans, both behind the baskets and along the sides where the camera sees it. And it's like a gray stock chair, but they will superimpose like someone on their webcam staring at the game. And basically the steps are like, it's easier to be a fan on that than basically, subscribing to a podcast might be at the level of difficulty.
Which, by the way, if you haven't, 5 stars also.
Exactly. Essentially, you have to download Microsoft Teams, go get the link from the team that you're trying to be a fan of, go to the link, log in. I think you may have to register at one point, but it's not like sign up and apply and be approved. Like you just go like joining a Zoom meeting, optimize your settings. If your signal is strong enough, they'll put you in queue and they will rotate you in and you'll be there and you'll be watching the game. Now, does that mean you have to stare at your laptop and watch the game? And if you don't, like a moderator might kick you out, probably, but still a good bit.
There's got to be a delay, right?
Probably.
So if some chick like whips the boobs out.
Yeah, I was talking about this the other day. Like if someone's gonna pull their piece out.
Or their penis.
Yeah, their penis, their hang down.
Oh, this ain't chat roulette.
We don't want that.
that chat roulette did pop into my head when I was seeing that. No, I haven't noticed anybody doing bits. Is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, there's certainly a delay. They have
the Pacers. The Pacers did a bit where they had the lady from the Last Dance, who was sort of the original Karen
Julia
back in
Stiles?
'98. No, that was like yelling at Michael Jordan. They put her up, which
not
was
Save
just
the
funny.
Last Dance.
Why don't
No,
I remember
not that
her?
one.
That was good.
I'll show it to you. It'll instantly pop up.
Okay. You called her the original Karen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
I thought so.
That group doesn't want to be whitewashed, Micah.
The only other thing that I would say is I don't miss the fans there, except the virtual fans or whatever, except at the very end of the game, because the first night there were 2. New Orleans had a game-winning shot basically as time expired, and LeBron got a bucket with like 8 seconds left, and it's not the same. That was the only time. The rest of the game, it's on the background. The noise is there. Kevin Harlan is yelling. Like it's fine. You don't even realize it. But then at the end of the game, when you don't have 16,000 people on their feet, and the game ends, and it's just like it's the end of an AAU game, and these dudes kind of hug each other and walk off the court. That's the only part. But the game's been great. A lot of close games. I'm in. Did you? We don't have hockey on the rundown, but have you guys watched any of the hockey or seen the setup for
what's
hockey?
that like?
We got stars.
5:30.
Who you got? You're a Vegas guy, right?
I'm
Or
Golden
are you
Knights
Preds?
guy. I'm
You're Golden Knights?
Ross is the Preds guy.
Ross is the Preds guy. I always mix that up. Yeah.
It looks awesome. They've got screens, and they're doing bits, too. They put up a thing that said tonight's attendance 0. So, love that.
Oh, that's clever.
Okay.
And they've got screens all around the thing. It looks really cool.
Okay.
Baseball still happening?
So far, it's on thin ice. Not to make a hockey reference here, but it's on thin ice.
I think the most notable story was the just absolute no call, no show from Cespedes.
Mm-hmm. Which he's done it before, not necessarily this, but for them to be like, hey, it's practice. Where's Johannes? How do you say his first name? Yeah, we'll go with that. Where's Cespedes? And they go to his room, and he vacated the premises.
Love that move.
And called us like,
apparently,
Coach, I'm
there's
not
a
coming
photo
back.
of him at the mall,
Dude, there was like
just out with the fellas.
people thought something bad happened. Like Twitter made it way worse, as it normally does. But people were like, there was somebody texted one of my other group texts like, dude, you see Cespedes? They're saying that cartel got him. I'm like, what? I'm like, I think he just opted out. And they're like, yeah, I was misinformed. I'm like, yeah, you definitely were. What? Like, that's very unfair. Probably offensive.
They're coming after him for being a defector. No, he was just doing an interview with defector about why he was leaving.
But I mean, he played like up until just okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up on the
Who's
story.
the
Sorry.
dude who retired at halftime, NFL?
Oh,
That's a great bet.
it's whatchamacallit? It's Vernon Davis's brother.
Oh, yeah. He's
Matt-
a DB, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just not going to go back out. Second half.
Vontae Davis.
He's like, yeah, I've had enough. Okay.
All right. Thanks for suiting
I
up.
guess now's the time to do
Oh,
it in these
man.
uncertain times.
But
I love the move of just leaving all your shit there. Like, you ever like move out of an apartment and you're like, I don't really want any of this stuff, and you just take like a little bit of your clothes and just leave. That's such a great bit.
Yeah, I tried that once, and then they're like, hey, you're going to have to pay. It's like, sorry, Raiders pass. I'll be back in 7 years when this comes off my credit.
That's when you change your identity.
Exactly. Cardinals, I've got the note on there. The thing I think that triggered the Cespedes issue was that we had the Marlins with 18-plus players and more players now testing positive. Then Phillies got infected from it, and they had games canceled. And so we had this domino effect of, like, schedule screw-ups. And then out of nowhere, the Cardinals had, like, 5 or 6 players test positive. And as they were digging into why or where they may have been, there's rumors that the players for the Cardinals may have been at a casino. Players from the Marlins were, like, just at the club.
Okay.
By no means is this a bubble situation. And then the Cardinals owner was reached for comment. He's like, it's just very disheartening and upsetting to see how many people are digging into why or how these players got sick, and they're not more concerned about their health. Like, okay, man, not the time.
That's the Karen.
Oh, yeah.
Instantly recognizable.
That's good. We could have used that 10 minutes ago.
I
Sorry,
I need to remind me to Google her later.
Speaking of that, it sounds like somebody's little H.
her name actually is Karen, which is shocking.
It's getting a little hot in here. You want to turn it down or you want to keep it hot? What are you guys thinking?
I think we turn the heat up, Dave.
New segment alert. It's the Horny Report.
When my team wins a big game, it's good. But when my team doesn't win the big game, you better look out, Buster. I'm a loose cannon. This is not good at all.
That's our friend Shido. I'm quite sure.
He's the original Horny for sports.
Yeah, he is. He's H for
I
sports.
just want to see
man.
how H everybody is for this week because we got a lot. We got NHL, we've got the NBA, we've got the MLB. There's so many leagues. We got PLL. Is that the lacrosse one?
Can I tell you what I'm most horny for?
I would love to know.
Actually, we booked a tee time for Friday. We're playing golf Friday morning. That developed like a couple hours ago.
The situation is fluid.
Whenever like my first round in a long time coincides with
Tell
a
them what
major,
we're playing.
Spanish Oaks. I don't have the hat on, but I'll wear it next week for sure. Might even get a new hat while I'm there. Anyway,
I love wearing hats of clubs that I'll never be able to afford.
playing at a nice club when it coincides with like a major kicking off, it's just fun for me. I just get in the golf spirit, you know.
What day are y'all playing?
Friday
morning.
Nice.
I am most horny for the PGA Championship.
I too am most horny. I would rate it, and you could put this on social media if you want, 4 eggplants out of 5 for the PGA
Really?
Championship. That's how H I am for
4 out of 5 eggplants.
How many eggplants horny are you for the PGA
Which is
Championship?
commonly used to symbolize a penis
I
on
wouldn't
social
know,
media.
Dylan. You would know better than me, I guess. Jeez.
I mean, the kids use it. I don't.
It denotes your level of H.
Sure. Yeah, we got that.
So how H are you? Just give us a thing.
I'm also 4 out of 5 eggplants, penises.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
We're really going to use eggplants, aren't we? Yeah.
That's going to stick.
Yeah.
So to speak.
If you will.
KJ,
I wasn't
man,
sure
that's-
if the horny report was something about the LA Rams, but apparently it has a totally different meaning.
It's a reference to
Because-
Wayne's World and Honey
because
Horny.
they have horns.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Boo. Boo that man.
That stunk. That did stunk and stink.
I was going to say the return of Tyler Sagan and the boys, get all H'd up for hockey this afternoon until someone told me that we're going to, we've got to make sure old Gary P isn't there when the boys are reporting to camp this Friday. That's what I'm H'd up
You're
for.
horny.
Yeah. You want
Horn
see
for the
TCU
Horn Frogs.
crumble.
Get the F out of here.
Wow. I don't think anybody from TCU listens to this pod.
Oh, yeah.
Surely one.
They're listening to like the Forbes podcast or whatever.
Oh, no. Don't put them on that pedestal. Get them out of here.
You know what I'm H for? Verdansk. I'm horny for esports, baby.
I love it.
Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right?
Wednesday, the 5th of August.
What
You know
season is this?
Dude, imagine how hot that stadium's going to be. Everyone wants to check it out. You're going to get murked in 2 seconds.
I'm gonna be dropping the pin there every time.
I'm steering clear for a month.
Somebody's gonna be like, dude, no, it's gonna be hot. I'll be like, yep.
Just exploring the map. Don't shoot.
Get your pistol game
Don't
ready,
shoot.
baby.
I can't wait to get smoked from the mezzanine section. From the
How
inside
how
the
age
stadium.
are you?
This is unprecedented. I'm 5 of 5.
Wow.
Wow. I might be there with you, but I think I'm like, I'd probably say 4.5 water splashes.
Whoa.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, how does that stack up to the eggplant?
Quite well, actually.
Okay. I am 5 of 5 on the eggplant. I am 4 of 5 on the cake emoji.
Gotcha.
Ooh,
Gotcha.
Cake.
That's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. What season is it? Season 5?
Season 5 of Call of Duty Warzone is releasing.
Sizzle Squad in the building.
I'm fully at this point. It's absurd how much money I've spent on this game. Like after bitching and moaning growing up about spending $50 on a game, this game was free, and I've probably dumped $100 into it over the last 4 or 5 months. And I'm looking at Wednesday being like, all right, what's 20 more? You don't have to spend $20 every time a season comes out, but
Wait, what does that money go? What are you going to spend $20 on?
new
endowment.
swag,
Okay.
New swag.
stuff that you would otherwise get if you were just patient.
Right.
There's no reason to spend any money on this game. Let me explain people that. But I'm not patient, so fuck it.
You know, Parks is always hitting you up wanting to buy a new dinosaur. Think about that only with like a ghillie suit or something.
No, I have spent money. I have purchased weapons. I get it. I didn't know if the new season dropping means you got to spend whatever to get new shit. I didn't know how that
Every
works. That's why I
time a
was asking.
season comes
I'm
out,
still
there's
a noob.
100, I don't know what you even call them, levels, steps, whatever, that you accumulate throughout matches. This just skips you to level 20 to start.
I also learned the term nerfing about weapons. What's getting nerfed, dog? What are they gonna take down a notch?
UCLA Bruins,
The Bruin?
I think
De
so.
Bruyne, yeah, probably. We had to nerf Micah's microphone before the pod
we just gave him a fake microphone.
since he decides to deep throat it when he does podcasts.
Oh man, we're
He's
having
been
fun.
weirdly quiet
Speaking of
during the
eggplant
esports.
emojis,
I don't think Micah drops in over Dansk.
You're not horny for esports?
I am not. I am 0 out of 5.
spend that
eggplant
time
emojis
Pele
for that.
Peleing.
I will be on the Peloton this weekend. Shouts to my sister who's getting married Friday.
Oh.
So your boy's putting in a little
Congrats.
extra Pele time to look good in those photos.
Respect.
Come join the hashtag Bad Boys of Pele. I am Team Follow Back. So if you join the hashtag, I will follow you.
I see-
2,000 reviews, and I will out Peloton Micah on live Twitch.
Ooh. And we'll raise money for a good cause.
And then if I can, I'll just get under a squat rack and redeem my pride.
The we're gonna raise money for the SMU endowment.
It's great.
I see here on the run sheet we have no corrections. We got everything right. That doesn't seem possible.
There's no way.
Look out of here, Tony Reale.
Man, the run it back
still doing
segment
it.
is lengthy. Let's just jump right into
You want to run it back? I'm gonna let you take
Sure.
control.
Welcome to Run It Back. This is the segment in which we talk about what we talked about. Let's start with The Rock.
Let me give you a bed, an
Okay.
audio bed.
Sure.
Oh, that was
People
that was
calling
wrong.
this the most electric segment
Yeah,
in
people,
podcasting.
a lot of positive thoughts on this so far. I'm waiting for this bed. Buying
You're gonna have a bed in 3, 2.
Oh, wow. Wasn't expecting that. Tremendous. Well, let's start at the beginning of the episode where Dave fact-checked this. The Rock has more money and wealth than Vin Diesel. Intern Luke once secretly tried to record Dylan at the meetup.
It's true.
It was weird.
It's true.
Larry Scott is a trash can, according to KJ. Dave says not to get anywhere near a hotel room tablet, as it's, quote, a crank machine.
I think most people would agree with that.
Dave's preferred shower is guaranteed to get you wet.
That's the Swedish shower.
The Swedish, yes. Dylan says UT's endowment is, quote, thick.
It's a big boy.
You can subscribe to Micah's new newsletter at the link in bio
All
at
right.
Micah's social medias
yeah.
at Micah Weiner.
This guy's unbelievable.
Parks needs to gain 263 pounds to get on the same growth rate as that big-ass 12-year-old.
It's the big baby drip
He's
guy.
got a ways to go.
If you put Parks on my shoulder, basically, we're this 12-year-old.
The big baby drip god. Dave has watched the Big Baby Drip God's 6th grade basketball highlight video and thinks he may go to Duncanville. KJ can't wait for the Big Baby Drip God to tweet about his 32nd college offer. KJ also not a fan of Gary Patterson.
About
Dave and KJ forgot what sports hurt feels like, but now that the Mavs are back there, the feeling has returned. Cespedes was not involved in a cartel incident, despite what Dave's group chat said.
Yeah, let me be clear. It was one guy, and he regretted the air.
Season 5 of Call of Duty is out this weekend, and the Sizzle Squad is in the building. And Dylan asked, "What's getting nerfed, dog?" And that was Run It Back.
Man, that's a fun seg
We like it.
to set to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out theme music, which is gets me hype.
Does it get you
clutch.
H?
It's a good one. It gets me H.
Is that what that was? You recognized it.
Yeah,
Good
I
for you.
did.
Good for you, man. You see, a lot of people give you shit, like on other podcasts, about missing out on certain things as a kid because you were so caught up in baseball and throwing footballs far.
Yeah.
But then you come in here and you're like, yeah, that was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
I'm pretty sure it's impossible to beat Mike Tyson. in
I've
that
beaten
game.
him before.
No, you haven't.
I have.
No, I think it is possible, but it's like 2 people have done it.
Those uppercuts, it's one hit quit. It's over.
Yeah.
You're down.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
You're little Mac. You're a smaller guy.
Yeah, you're tiny.
We're going to record another one Thursday. You'll go with Thursday?
We're doing 2 this week?
I think 2's the plan.
Breaking news.
Whoa.
Brett wants us to do 2. We could talk about it off mic. I like to pull the curtain back and just let people hear us talk about it live on the air.
I'm verbally committed to Pod University on Thursday, so it's up to you guys.
That's us. What's
Wow.
that endowment looking like?
Hopefully
Well
it's-
endowed. Well, that's all I got.
You want to apologize to the people for nothing and some sizzle? You did it publicly already.
I'm just hoping that the Punch-Out audio bed was low enough to where it doesn't give people the same experience with the sizzle audio.
Yeah, if you Run It Back, you're going to get a lot of hate.
Well, I was worried about that because it's highly clippable, but I think we'll be okay. Randy looked like he was enjoying it, and that's all that matters. He nods off mic. All right, we'll see you next week. Don't forget, it's podcast week. Bye.
Chip.
Bye.
I want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.
Mama, there goes that